everyone, and welcome back to the Black Robe podcast. It's your girl, Anzhane Slaughter, here with the lovely Carol Mitchell. How are you doing, Miss Carol?
I'm so excited tonight about our guest. I can hardly stand myself.
You guys are really in for a treat today. Carol has become a fan of a young Black celloist, and I can admit I have as well. You guys, once we hear the story of this young man and really how he's grown into his musician self, I think it will really inspire a lot of people. What do you think, Carol?
I know. And the good news is he is in Tacoma. He did a pre-recorded show with Northwest Sinfonietta, and we're going to get to see and hear his musicality. His energy is amazing. And all of that is going to be available to us online for just $20 per household. So we put the ticket information on our Black Robe podcast Facebook page. And so anybody can really see and hear how fantastic he is. Should we bring him in?
Let's bring Mr. Sterling Elliott in.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yes. Let's do it. Let's admit him. Let's make it so. Welcome. There he is, the man of the hour. I told him he's even more handsome than he is on his website. And look how, you're amazing, Sterling. Welcome, first of all, to Tacoma. Welcome to the Black Robe podcast.
Thank you. And
congratulations on a phenomenal career in just 21 young years. Oh my gosh.
Thank you so much.
Right. So young. You guys.
So let's start with how all of this happened. You are a professional cellist. You have played all over the world, even as far away as Stockholm. You have won all sorts of competitions. And maybe you're going to tell us a little bit about, is it Sphinx?
Yes.
The one that I kept seeing, which I know is a very prestigious competition that happens. And you have committed yourself to Juilliard School of Music, which, just to even be there says a lot about how incredibly gifted you are. So let's start at the beginning. This is Mother's Month. Anjanae and I have been celebrating the influence of moms on children, on communities, on the world. And so can we start out with the fact that your mom is the one who is she the first one to put the cello in your hand? Tell us a little bit about the mother of Sterling Elliott. Let's start right there.
Absolutely. I couldn't even begin to tell my story without including her. She is the beginning of my story. So here's how it goes. My mom is a violinist, and when she started her family, she always wanted a family string quartet. That was her goal. And well, I recently actually learned that her original goal was to have 4 kids playing in this quartet, and she was just, sitting back and enjoying. But that's not what happened. So what happened was my first brother was my brother was the very first one to join the family as a little youngin, and my mom started teaching him when he was 3 years old. The first person she started teaching. He was basically the guinea pig. He was the one that started my mom's violin studio. My mom's friends saw her teaching Brendan, that's my brother's name, and they were like, wow, he's doing pretty well. Can you do that for my kid? And so that's how that went. But to continue the family story, then came along my sister. She was so energetic to start playing violin after seeing my brother play it and my mom play it that my mom handed it to her at 2 years old on her birthday. And that was 2 years old. And you can imagine just how chaotic that could be. And so we're making our way down. So at the moment we have 3 violins, and it's not an ideal quartet. Usually a string quartet consists of 2 violins, 1 viola, and 1 cello. But we'll make it work. We need a bass, so we need a cello. You can't have all these high string instruments. We need a bass. So before I was born, actually while I was in my mom's womb, there was a cello waiting. There was a cello waiting for me. It was gonna happen one way or another.
I read in your bio that you really wanted to play violin, and your mom wanted the quartet, wanted that quartet,
Yeah.
and so you had to become the cellist.
There was nothing that was going to stop this goal from this dream from coming. So yeah, I of course I wanted to play the violin. That's all I saw. But actually, fun fact, something that the thing that got me to settle down and enjoy the cello was my mom told me that cellists get paid more because our instruments are paid more.
It's a bigger instrument, yeah.
Yeah, and
It's heavier.
I guess at 3 years old, money talked. So that was
Even then, you were very much in tune to the economics of your musicality.
was on a mission.
And so, how old were you when you played for the first time in front of an audience with your sister and brother?
Well, I'll answer it in 2 ways. So the first performance I gave in front of people, I think I was either 3 or 4 years old. It's actually on YouTube. It's on
Wow.
YouTube.
We might have to edit that in at the end of the show. And show the then and now.
Yeah. So did you first learn just by sound, or was your mom very, she was like, you need to learn how to read music?
We learned how to sort of do both. So we learn via this method called the Suzuki method, and it trains your ear a lot. And a lot of kids actually who grow up learning the Suzuki method, they actually learn to read music a little late just because they're so used to playing by ear with this method. But I kind of learned both. I think I learned how to read music before I learned how to read words.
That's so cool.
So was your mother a professional violinist then, or she just played because she loved it?
She just played because she loved it. And I believe she actually got her degree in, I think, environmental science. She worked in a lab, and she played violin always growing up, and she always loved it. She always had a huge passion that she wanted to pass on to her kids, which she did. And yeah, that's how it happened. She never wanted us to become professional musicians. That was never the goal, but here we are.
So how did this happen? Go ahead, Anjane. I'm sorry. You can answer my question.
I was just gonna say that, they say musicians are the smartest people because you're using a completely different function of your brain than the traditional, scholar, right? You actually are reading a different language, and not only reading, but you're playing at the same time. So you're literally using your creative side and your reading side at the same time. I only know this because I also come from a family of musicians. My cousin by blood is Jimi Hendrix, the great guitarist from Seattle. Yeah, Jimi Hendrix, the legend, definitely is. Wow. So that's my cousin, and it's funny. Everyone in our family, if you don't play an instrument, you're musically inclined somehow. You produce music, you write songs. And it's funny because we are all activists in a way too. And so was Jimmy. So I strongly believe that, in family, it might be hereditary, these genes. I don't know.
Yeah, it's in the DNA.
In the DNA,
So talk a little bit about how you got to this point. How in the world did you end up at Juilliard? How did you end up playing professionally? Really, were you 16, 17 when you first started winning these competitions?
Sure. So I guess the first time I got to perform in front of an orchestra, I was 7 years old. I I won a concerto competition for our youth symphony, just our local youth symphony. And so that was the very first time I got my taste of the solo life. And and
And
that
you liked it.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I guess that was sort of my calling maybe. And I
I
just
I can tell that when you're performing solo, you look like you're enjoying yourself so much. It just looks so pleasurable to you that it makes everybody else enjoy the music right along with you. Even people who think they might not like symphony music, when
Hmm.
they watch you play, it is so intoxicating. I kept rewinding the video. I was trying to cook my steak for dinner and got distracted
well, thank you. I mean,
with your
that's
video because you were so athletic.
thank
And
you.
your fingers, I was saying earlier, your fingers moved at like 900 miles a minute. It's almost as if it's in your autonomic system, like you're not even really thinking about it.
Well, it's definitely one of the benefits of starting so early is that it is really second nature. I mean, that I if you think about it, the amount of time I've been doing this, I mean, I guess the only thing I've done more often than playing music is probably speaking. But besides that, like any activity, I don't think there's anything that I know more of like second nature than like playing. I've put so many hours into it. Yeah, it's like built into me now.
Yeah.
So you're going to play with you. You actually recorded. We're recording the show on Tuesday, and you recorded a piece with the Northwest Sinfonietta. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that
Sure.
and what we can expect to see this coming weekend? May 22nd, 23rd is when we'll get to see your performance with Northwest Sinfonietta. So tell us about that.
Sure. So what you'll hear me performing with Northwest Sinfonietta is going to be Tchaikovsky's Rococo Variations. It's really just it's a set of variations, 7 variations. You first hear a really nice, beautiful theme played by the orchestra and then me, and then it goes through a set of 7 variations that are from a cellist perspective, they're like technical exercises. They're like it's
Mm.
known as a difficult piece for us, but hopefully from the audience perspective, you just sit back and enjoy and just think, oh, this is beautiful. But
Or it'll be like me, where I was going, how is he doing that? I was just watching your fingers going, are his fingers moving that quickly? The music
Yeah.
is beautiful.
yeah,
I
that's
can't wait.
and yeah, so that's the piece for Coco Variations. It's a piece that's been with me for a long time. The first time I performed it with orchestra, I think I was maybe 13 or so. It's a piece, like I said, it's been with me for a while. Um, always been close to my heart. One of my favorites to play. It's just a fun time, I think, for the orchestra members and me. And yeah, I think it's a fun piece. I think everyone who listens will definitely enjoy it. And if you don't, you will.
If you don't, there's something wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with the music.
Right.
So
Seriously.
we have put ticket information on our IBJ Facebook page to make sure that people know that they can get the tickets for a really sweet price. There's probably never going to be another opportunity for them to see you play for $20 for the whole
No.
household. When is that going to happen again?
Right. Exactly. Who knows? But I'm curious. Can I ask you a serious question, Sterling?
Please.
Okay, because this is the Black Robe podcast, right? This is a safe space for Black people. Okay, I love that we're highlighting you as a young Black artist and celloist at that. I want to know, how is it as a Black male in this space in orchestra?
It's kind of exactly, I think, as you would imagine. I mean, if you think of an orchestra, or if you've ever even seen an orchestra, honestly, you don't we're not there. We're really absent from the scene, and so it feels exactly as you would think. It can be very isolating, um, and that kind of brings me to the Sphinx organization. So the Sphinx organization, man, they're really the organization that curated. Really, they're kind of like a family to me at this point. But they really curated and guided me throughout the entire process. So to speak a little more about the organization, they're literally dedicated to, like, their mission statement is to promote diversity, specifically and Latino and African Americans and classical music. So that's their mission statement. They've been around for a bit over 20 years now, maybe 25 years. Um, every single year they host a national competition, of which I did when I was a junior. I did it when I was like 14. I won a prize, and I also won a prize at 19 years old. And basically, well, first off, I mean, I think they have the only in the States, or at least they did have the only, maybe there's more now, I don't think there is, but they had the only um, all black orchestra called the Sphinx Orchestra that we get to perform with at the competition. It's a whole family of my own minority in classical arts, which is just the rarest thing ever. And that's really where all my teachers and mentors came from. My mentors who told me to do the Sphinx competition, my mentors who helped me guide me all the way to Juilliard and everything, who've guided me all the way to all these performances. They're the ones who literally opened the door for all these performances, including Northwest Sinfonietta. Sphinx is everything to me. So yeah,
I want to mention what your accomplishments and people can read more about you on your bio. But you were awarded first prize in the senior division of the 2019 22nd annual Sphinx competition back in 2019, of course. And you were the youngest finalist in the prestigious competition. And it sounds like the economics were very, very good to you.
They were.
The playing cello is very, very good to you. There was a $50,000 prize. Wow. You were rolling.
I love that. But that's also that's a reflection that there's money in classical arts. I mean, we want to get more Black people into the arts. It's not something that is not inclusive within our culture. I remember playing instruments growing up and band being like a weird thing, at least in the Pacific Northwest, But if you go down to Louisiana, you go down to
Charleston.
They're playing those, like, just like Sterling said, they know how to read music or play an instrument before they know how to read a book. Yeah. Like that's really how it goes. So I just hope that people that are watching this podcast are getting inspired by your story, Sterling, and also seeing that there is a community that makes this large pond feel, it's a lot easier to grasp and to feel included with the Sphinx organization. That's just awesome. And plus nowadays you're hearing a lot of, at least I'm hearing a lot of electric violinists playing hip hop music, and they are killing it. Like, it just sounds so good. So there's so much you can do, with the violin and with the cello.
No, I love to promote that. And in fact, I should probably a little bit more about my family string quartet. So back when we used to play, we haven't played since my oldest brother went to college, but back when we used to play, it really wasn't the string quartet you would ever imagine. So we would play in a lot of different venues. We started out in like malls and libraries, and like what you would hear from us is anything from like R&B to gospel to jazz to bluegrass, and like we really played like everything but Mozart. And
wow.
Yeah, so you really can do. We used to do some of the strangest and the coolest things. You really can do so many things, and I love promoting that to like students I may teach or kids I may encounter. Is like, if you like playing this instrument, like, just know that your path, that doesn't mean that your path like has to go to what I do necessarily, which is like performing Beethoven on stage in front of an orchestra. Like, you can literally, if you enjoy playing a cover of a hip hop song, then great, then do what you enjoy. You can't exactly do that.
And you have performed with some artists, right? Who, for example, have you performed with that was not part of the symphony?
Jennifer Hudson.
Okay.
It's probably the biggest name I could drop. I recently recorded. Okay, if anyone here has seen the new Lion King movie that was released,
yes,
okay.
I am playing on the entire track. So that.
Wow.
Are you kidding?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that makes me want to watch the movie again.
I know, right?
Well,
I'm like, that cello, I know that guy. I met him.
And let me just read just a couple more of your accomplishments, because you were so young when this was happening. You're only 21 now. By the way, any of the young ladies watching, he's in New York in just a couple of days, so sorry. But you're on the eve of your 22nd birthday here soon. But here's what I was really impressed by. In addition to the Sphinx competition where you won the 50G, days before that, you had performed several concerts in Switzerland at the World Economic Forum, which included a performance on the CNBC television network. You're one of the youngest musicians to work as a substitute for the New York Philharmonic in October. Also, you had a solo debut at Carnegie Hall. Yes. And so that kind of pedigree, that kind of resume for somebody that's not even 22 years old yet, I know you've got some haters. Because there are people who have worked, their whole life trying to get to the places you've already been when you're 18, 19, 20 years old. What do you think it is? What's your secret to all of this success so young, besides your mother, who apparently had the foresight to know to put an instrument in her children's hands young? But it seems like you have even maybe exceeded what she might have expected when you were 3. What's your secret?
I mean, I think there's a lot of times, okay, I guess like when you're giving business advice to someone, you might say like it's not necessarily how great you are. It's like who you know, or like if you're at the right place at the right time, sort of thing. I feel like, yes, I mean, that's not to say that I haven't put in, numerous amounts of work and practice every single day since I was 3, but I think it can't be ignored. Like there were so many factors along my path from the very beginning that I just have to thank just a number of people who saw me, and I guess were basically just looking out for me. Like it started with my mom, like moving cities in Virginia just so that like we could be in a district where there was music in the public schools, because and when we originally lived in Hampton, Virginia, there was no music in the public schools, and so she moved just to put us, and then I think she even put down a different address on our things just so we could go to a certain school with music and like things like that. There were certain people I encountered who accepted me into their studio and took me under their tutelage, and I really feel like people. I mean, there's just a number of mentors I have to thank, especially from Sphinx and everything. And so I really just think it's not easy. I mean, naturally, especially for us, like there's not that many opportunities. We're already at a disadvantage, and I was just really, really fortunate to benefit from a lot of things, such as Sphinx, such as my really hardworking mom, who just had so many sacrifices for us, just for music, and things such as that. And so I really think I've gotten really lucky, and I can't wait to, and I'm already trying to do as much as I can, but I just can't wait to do that for other people, because that's the kind of thing that changes someone's entire life, is really just giving back and being that mentor to someone, and helping them take them to the next level and guide them and everything. I feel like everyone needs that sort of mentor, especially in a field like this, and especially for people like us. So I think that's the secret for me.
Yeah, I mean, the environment of support that you were in with your mother and her commitment to your success, the success of your sister and your brother, that's huge, and it's something so valuable that sometimes young people have to have surrogates showing that kind of love and support, because their own parent might not have the capacity to do it, or might not even know what to do. And so I'm sure you have really proven your mother made your mother proud, made your family proud, your community proud. I'm sure you've made a lot of sacrifices too, because you're on the road a lot.
Mhm.
You could be running the streets, and instead you're in an airplane at 16, 17.
Yeah, even
You,
just practicing when we were young. I mean, practice came first before everything. While everyone else was playing outside, we would come home from school, get our 3 hours in, and then by then it's dark outside, and then there's homework, and so a lot of stuff.
you had to be in before the street lights came on.
Happened.
Well, we've just got a few minutes left, but I did want to make sure that we do a little promo for your Northwest Sinfonietta performance that's coming up on the 22nd and 23rd of May. Take a few minutes here and just invite people, and again, tell them what they can expect to hear and experience on those at those events.
Yes, so you will be hearing me perform again solo with the Northwest Sinfonietta Rococo Variations, and again, I really do think you'll enjoy it. And if you don't, honestly, contact me. I'd love to. Or search me up. I think you enjoy some of my other videos. No, I'm joking, but yeah. Saturday night, same day I turned 22.
Oh, Saturday is your birthday.
It is. It's a birthday concert.
Happy birthday. Well, for no other reason, people need to come and just celebrate your birthday. That is a beautiful way for them to just celebrate you. And you're so young, and yet such a role model for lots of other young people, young men, women, both African American and otherwise, who might not even believe such a life would be possible for them. You're proof of what's possible. And thank you so much for using your life this way. It's such a gift to all of us who enjoy your music and enjoy watching you. That part is probably it's going to be so energizing for everybody that's there. If you think the symphony is boring, just come watch Sterling Elliott play, and your mind will forever be changed about that. So we're going to close it out, my friend. We're going to bring end our show today with a little bit of your music. Folks are going to see a little video and hear a little bit of your talent. And we really appreciate you being here with us.
Pleasure. Thank you for having me.
And thanks, everybody, for watching the Black Robe podcast tonight. We certainly hope that you can get out, or at least get online, to watch and experience Sterling Elliott and the Northwest Sinfonietta. You won't be disappointed. May 22nd, May 23rd. The tickets are just $20, and you can actually find a link to those tickets on our Facebook page. We'll see you next time on the Black Robe podcast. Bye.